winning event 2 has rocketed up to 3rd place overall. Saxon Panchik and Jason Hopper rounding out the top 5. Right now, Will Carter would be the last man in. But coming into this event, only a 1-point cushion over both Drestrom and Jack Rosema, and still plenty of points out there up for grabs. Event number 3 is a sprint, even though it takes a little bit of some time to get through here.
It does. It's a lot of burst and then almost weight a little bit, but there's not a barbell or a weight in sight. It's 7 rounds for time, 10-calorie echo bike, 1 legless rope climb, 10 box jump overs at 30 inches, and then 1 legless rope climb. The final event, or I'm sorry, the final round, there'll only be 1 legless rope climb as the athletes transition to the finish line.
The Go Ruck steps to success.
These are pretty simple and straightforward, but the floor is vast and you can get lost in transition. There are 28 of them within this workout, and you've got to navigate that as the breaks get larger as you go, and you got to be a biker. That means this bike isn't just simply a timepiece or a timekeeper. You've got to be aggressive with the pace that you come out with and sustain throughout the event.
10 men will line up for this 3rd of 4 heats. In lane number 10, Marquand Jones looking to make his way back to the CrossFit Games for the first time since 2018.
Yeah, we've got some unique stats on Marquand, and one of them is that he has an 80% chance of a top 10 finish when there are legless rope climbs present. And Sean, one of his friends reached out to me and said, hey, Marquand never wears grips when he's hanging or training. And to me, that tells me that he's going to have an essentially strong grip as he trains it often in his day-to-day.
Jack Rosema in this heat. Now, the 2 guys he's chasing in the overall standings have already gone, so he knows what he needs to do to move his way into the top 11.
Jack Rosema, one of those guys that we've seen be very consistent throughout his years, but he's had a steady increase in performance year in and year out. We'll see what he can do in this legless rope climb event.
We are fortunate to be joined in the booth by the 9-time CrossFit Games competitor, Scott Panchik. You got to go all the way back to 2012 for his first career event win at the CrossFit Games in Fran, and made a career of finishing inside the top 10 at the Games. Scott, thank you so much for joining us, and we're just going to get this out of the way right off the bat. Got some rope climbs.
Well, they are cut cleanly today. So.
Don't know how else to give that one to you, man.
Hey. We're ready to rock. These guys are ready to send it.
We are underway. We start with the 10 calories on the Echo bike. There is Marquand Jones.
Sean, when you look at this, I'm sorry, Scott, when you look at this and you think about, hey, how do I attack this on a pacing perspective? Do you come out real hot on the bike? Is it like a race to the first 10 box jumpers for you, or are you like, oh, it's 7 rounds, I need to settle and execute? Yeah,
you need to settle in, and I honestly think the transitions is really the most important part of this workout. And as they continue to progress down the floor, they're going to get more and more important.
Yeah, as we notice, each round, the athletes will advance the box, so it's very clear to us and the other spectators here on site which round they're on, and so the distance becomes greater and greater between that next rope climb to finish each round.
Alex Vigneault there in the gray shirt. His judge's hand was in the air first. Next to him in lane number 3 is Evan Rogers. The 2 of them will be the first 2 back to the bike, and also in lane 6, Jack Rosema making his way back to close out round number 1 of 7.
Now, one of the interesting things I saw in the first round there is these guys are jumping over the box. You can see that outside leg almost swinging around the corner just to take it a little easier on that hip flexor so they can get back on that bike and start hammering.
Man, I watched that, and Sean and I were talking about it literally in the earlier heats. I was like, dude, that adds up so much on the hip flexors and the trunk, especially considering, hey, these guys already did 100 toes to bar today in that first event.
And 50 front squats, right?
Man, that's absolutely.
Well, 10 calories on the Rogue Echo bike may not sound like a lot, but these athletes are certainly making it look easy. It is the piece of equipment everyone loves to hate, but it is effective. Rogue Fitness is the official equipment supplier of CrossFit and the CrossFit Games. Grab your gear at roguefitness.com and try out some of these workouts for yourself. Rosema and Vigneault. Rosema in that pink shirt, Vigneault in the gray. First 2 men to the 10 box jump overs here in round 2 of 7. Time to beat belongs to Seth Stovall. Did that in the prior heat as he tracked down Jack Farlow late. 9 minutes, 54 seconds.
Yeah, this workout on paper had a bit of a different flavor to me before I saw athletes start to execute. I was like, okay, that's going to be grippy. Up until this point, Scott and Sean, I have yet to really see many male athletes be limited by the rope climbs at all. It's the transitions and essentially the ferocity they're willing to like attack this whole event at.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's a dump from the legs into the arms, into the legs, into the arms, and having that rope climb between both of them, it's beautiful.
Well, you were at the games in 2013 when this movement was first unveiled.
Man.
When you heard about that, I mean, that blew a lot of people's minds that we're going to do legless rope climbs. You know, what were you thinking the first time that you encountered that?
Legless and thrusters? Man, that was a special workout. Probably one of the most memorable workouts at the CrossFit Games. I remember the fireworks going off and the flyover, and it was special.
Marcus Hendren dove across the finish line.
My gosh.
All kinds of good stuff going on there.
Absolutely.
Jack Rosema, along with Taylor Self in the black shirt, and Alex Vigno. And then on the right side of your screen in lane 8, that's Sam Cournoyer. In lane 7 in the white top is Alexander Caron. They are all neck and neck here in round 3 of 7.
Now, one of the things I'm looking for here in these athletes is when they get on that bike and how they accelerate through that 10 calories. I think there's a lot of time that can be made up. As soon as you get on there, you got to get that power up on that bike.
Yep, and that's why that was one of the steps to success. Is like, you got to be a biker here so often, and you can speak to this, Scott. When we watch athletes have an erg, like a bike or a rower present, it's like, okay, I'm going to settle in here, casual pace, so that I can make haste on the other movements, but not so much here, you're saying.
Yeah, you got to get on and get the power up quick. 10 calories is going to go by fast, but it can still go by very slow if you get on and lollipop.
For one last weekend of semifinals, CrossFit is offering 20% off the online L1 course if you register this weekend with the code SC20. This is your last chance to learn more about the methodology that we all know and love. The offer is valid May 31st through June 3rd. It's only valid for first-time registrants in the online L1 course, not valid for revalidation or with any other offers or discounts. There is Marquand Jones. He's towards the front here along with Sam Cournoyer. And then behind them is Taylor Self, Alex Vigno, and Jack Rosema. And Alexander Caron getting to his 4th set of those box jump overs. 7 total rounds here, and keep in mind that 7th round, as we've mentioned before, does not end on the rope. It ends on the box.
That's right. And as you start to watch the reps really accumulate here for the box jump overs, Cournoyer advancing his box. Then, of course, we got Jones on the same thing. Scott, that point that you made about that slight and subtle turn off to the side of that off leg, this is where we're going to start to see that really accumulate as we get closer and closer to the 70th box jump over that they're going to be responsible for. Absolutely.
And it's just that efficiency. It's the efficiency of moving your box and getting back onto the bike, and just every little detail starts to add up in a 7-round workout like this.
Now, Marquand Jones, 22nd place overall. Jack Rosema, meanwhile, 13th place overall coming into the event. Just 1 point out of a qualifying spot. And again, both Will Carter and Dre Strom are done. They went in prior heats.
This is that opportunity. You mentioned it, Scott. You got to get the power up on the bike quickly. It's so easy to want to submit to how you feel at this point because you don't actually know where your competitors always are on an erg, right? You're like, maybe he got 4 calories left, but it's really 2. You know what I'm saying? And so it's easy to get lost there. Cournoyer doing a great job at keeping his foot on the gas.
Yeah. Sam Cournoyer, pardon me, Scott. Sam Cournoyer in the lead, and then the battle for second now between Taylor Self and Marquand Jones.
Yeah, you can lose 5-10 seconds very quickly if you're coasting into that last calorie.
Yeah, and we've seen that. I've experienced that too on a rower or a bike. It's like, yo, I'm waiting for that calorie to take over, so I'm trying to get off, but I wait too soon, and then I have to wait too long.
Yeah, you start letting that power drop, and it just does not click over as quickly as you thought it was. Now, this is where it starts to get exciting. This is where you start to take people's will to win away.
2 rounds remain here. Cournoyer remains your overall leader in the heat. There's Taylor Self, who's fighting with Marquand Jones for second. Now, Alexander Caron has moved ahead of Rosema for 4th place in the heat. 9:54, the time to beat from Seth Stovall in heat number 2.
You notice Sam Cournoyer taking some deep breaths, trying to like clear his lungs a little bit, take a big inhale, exhale, allow himself to recover while still keeping that power output there. And now we're going to watch him transition as fast as he can into that rope climb.
And then you can tell who's sitting more upright on that bike gets you a better opportunity to breathe. Also lets you push those elbows out into extension a bit more, setting you up for some fast rope climbs.
Taylor Self is now slightly ahead of Marquand Jones. Self on the bottom left-hand part of your screen. He's in second place in the heat. Sam Cornway in lane 8 with 2 box jumps now, 1 remaining, and he'll go into his 7th and final round after this second to last legless rope climb. Cornway a 10th place overall, 137 total points.
Wow.
14 up on Will Carter for 11th. Remember, 11 men advanced from this semifinal to the CrossFit Games. Is now Taylor Self is into round 7 along with Marquand Jones.
These guys got to step on the bike, step on the bike. This is it, their last chance to close the gap. I haven't really seen any leads ever exchanged on this final stretch here, so it's like you got to go ham on this final bike.
Absolutely. Well, Jack Farlow, that first heat, we saw a little sprint to the box, and he took it from him.
Sam Cornway now 10 box jumps remaining to lock up the heat win, looking for his 2nd career event win at the semifinals. His first came last year in test number 3, and now Taylor Self is off the rope. He's in 2nd place, 20th overall coming in. These are valuable points for him, but now Luke Parker in lane 2, left side of your screen, is trying to chase down Taylor Self for 2nd. Sam Cornway is done. Cornway, the new time to beat, and now the fight for 2nd place between Parker and Self.
2 hands in the air.
Final rep, and Taylor Self is going to win that race. He's going to take 2nd. That right now is good enough for 2nd in the event. Luke Parker barreling over the finish line. He'll take 3rd, and now Alexander Carone in the white shirt. He is in, and here comes Marquand Jones.
Parker and Carone putting on a great display of pacing there. They really made a big surge in the last 2 rounds.
And Jack Rozema is in, and right now Rozema is ahead of the prior top time for Sobel. That's huge for Rozema as he looks to work his way into the top 11 with 3 events remaining, and here comes Alex Vino.
Spencer across. Garrett Clark still chipping away. 1 round to go.
Garrett Clark, as you mentioned, Adrian, the last man on the competition floor. He comes in 24th place overall.
And you wonder what it was, Sean, that might have slowed him down. It might have been his limitation. Scott, you know this. In each and every event, each and every workout, all of us have a very different limit or limitation, but a lot of times we can identify one thing that tends to stand out. It looked like he climbed that rope no problem. So what would you assume? Is it more of an aerobic limitation, maybe his conditioning, maybe his box jumps?
Yeah, there's a lot of things that can play a factor. You get 1 weekend of the year to get to the CrossFit Games, and sometimes the stars align and your body's feeling great. Other times, you could be under weather, could be dehydrated, didn't fuel between events. Like, there's a lot of factors that come into performing really well.
Clark off the bike for the final time, and now after this rope climb, he'll have 10 box jump overs remaining. Your brothers still come to you for advice, or is it more of a, okay, whatever, Scott, we got it now, man.
They both have coaches. I'm just the big brother for the weekend, and I like that role. I'm here to love on you all weekend long, boys.
Love on you all weekend long, smack you in the back of the head if you need it.
That's right.
Big brother things.
The final reps for Garrett Clark. And he is in. Sam Cornway, and about half the field here beat the prior top time. 9:16 flat for Cornway. Taylor Self, if that sticks for him, those are some valuable points as he looks to move out of 20th place.
Yeah, and it was all Sam Cornway out of the gate and then through this entire event. Now, this isn't a place where he wants to be. He doesn't want to be in the second to last seat. He wants to be in the very last seat. And all day long, he's tried to handle his business which means, hey, look to my left, look to my right. All I can do is win my heat and try to put a presentable and challengeable time to the guys standing by and watch me. And this is what he did. He put on a great display, not getting lost in all these 28 transitions that exist within this event. He stayed intense and with a high level of perseverance there on that bike, even in through the final stretch. And it was all Sam all the way through. We talked about him being good when it comes to mixed modal tradition.